a surprise move, the Reserve Bank of India today cut its repo rates by 25 basis points to 7.75%, making it the first rate cut since May 2013. The interest rate cut comes after inflation showed signs of cooling down. The industry participants have been lobbying for a much bigger cut and were expecting the governor to announce it in the February policy. While this unexpected early move was welcomed by the industry, most believe a 0.25% cut is not sufficient to revive the investment cycle. For consumers, though, it's good news. Home loans and auto loans are expected to get a little cheaper. Welcome everyone to a show dedicated to all those of you who dream of a fabulous vacation or second home by the beach or in the lush green mountains or even a farmhouse right outside of your city. And every year, right after a vacation, this longing for a vacation home becomes even stronger. So today on the show, we will zero down on 4 questions. How do you pick the right location for a vacation home? What is the right size and kind of home you should be buying? How do you strike a good deal for a second home property? And finally, the big question, is it really an investment for the rich, or is there some money sense for a lot many of us to go out there and fulfill our dream of a vacation home? My panelists today, Naveen Jacob Matthew, Executive Director, Montrose Coorg; Santosh Naik, Managing Director and CEO, Disha Direct Marketing Services; Mudassir Zaidi, National Director, Residential Agency, Knight Frank India; Arshad Jafri, Operations Head, EHPL India; Om Chaudhary, Founder and CEO, Fire Capital Fund. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today. I don't even know, I would like to ask who has, I think we should do a dipstick on who has a vacation home where, and that person gets the first question, isn't it? The most awesome destination. So Goa, Mudassir, anything in Goa?
I have some property in Goa, no doubt about it.
See, I knew it. All right, Goa is topping the destination there. Arshad, where's your second home?
Probably Naukuchia Tal in Nainital.
Probably. That means he has so many. He's wondering. He's only willing to reveal one name. Okay, Om Chaudhary. Second home destination of your choice.
If I get to spend time in my home, I think that's enough. So a second home is not for now. Don't have that luxury yet.
All right, Santosh, you must have many.
Yeah, but Alibag is a preferred destination.
Alibag is a preferred destination. Naveen Jacob Matthew, your preferred destination in and around your city?
Well, I actually live in Ooty, and the rest of the time I spend between Coorg and Kumarakom. So I pretty much live in a holiday destination, so don't have to look at something
we are all
else.
Extremely jealous of you, and we are wondering why have you been invited on the show. Here's home who doesn't get time enough to spend in his first home. Anyway, gentlemen, on a very serious note, let's get down to just spinning down on people, on the second home destinations of India. What is it that should drive the location? So, Naveen, I know that you live in Ooty, but if you were to live in a city like Bangalore, anywhere in India, just low common denominator points that one should use, thumb rules one should use to pick up a second home destination.
Okay, to be very honest, I live in Ooty because one, we are a condo hotel chain, and that in essence is also a second home concept that we are also doing. And when you're choosing a second home, it's so important that one, it's easily accessible for you, meaning you have to be able to go there on a weekend. If you're not able to do that, then there's no point in you having a second home.
Okay, so weekend where it's easy to drive down to. So what happens to all the Goa properties, Mudassir? Delhiites are crazy about a property. Either it has to be in the hills, at the bottom or the top of the Himalayas, wherever they can reach, or it has to be Goa, which is fairly far off, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say it's a personal choice. Some people would like the lush greenery and the the atmosphere and the climate that you get in the hills. Some people like the sea and the sights and sounds of the place around that. I would go for both. One property each in the hills or definitely near the sea.
Good Lord. I need to ask how much Knight Frank is paying him. One property in each, or is the bonuses which add up at the end of the year with all the transactions? Anyway,
certainly that.
Okay. So you're saying one in the hills and one by the seaside. Why not? Okay, so 2 properties if you can afford, and those pretty much fulfill your needs. Arshad, how would you, in terms of simple advice, what would you tell people? Is it going to be totally passion, emotion driven, or is it going to be something like we just heard, a drive, a place where you can reach over the weekend, a drive away?
Actually, being a good consultant, I should have asked a question before telling anything.
Okay.
I ask the people what you have in your mind, what is driving you toward a property. Actually, you are intended to buy a property. That is why you are here. And I just try to get their thoughts, what they are up to actually. If they are intended to buy a property for an investment kind of purpose, then I have different things in my satchel to tell them.
Okay.
If they are just passionate about a thing, about nature, about love, about a romantic scenery, or just a morning when they are having a cup of tea in their hand and watching the birds singing up beside them.
Okay. So you have different advice for different groups of people?
Definitely. We all have different natures and different kind of thought process, different kind of pocket.
This is going to make the discussion go absolutely nowhere, but I'm still going to try and pin down and get some answers. Om Chaudhary, second home destination. Internationally, it's a huge investment opportunity. It's seen as that, but in India, it's mostly driven by emotion and passion.
It is, but if you were to also look at options, for example, if somebody is living in Mumbai, lives in a 2-bedroom apartment, is looking for an opportunity to spend the weekends, let the kids go out, enjoy, have a backyard. So there are those options also, and we're seeing a lot of that, where on the outskirts of a Bangalore, even on the outskirts of tier 2 cities, where you come in with an option with a lot of sports, horse riding, this, that and the other thrown in, and you sell homes around that concept, and that golf destinations. It's not something that if you're slightly away from the city, and in tier 2 cities, stuff like this is now catching on, and that is something that we are seeing happen in a big way.
All right, Santosh Nayak, what are your own impressions? So, we have NCR where people don't really live in small homes. They already have comfortably sized homes, and therefore, I think they need to head out to the hills or to Goa. When you look at MMR and Mumbai region, people live in small homes. And I was reading this really interesting report where a family said, even going to Alibag is such a huge relief for us. Just the greenery, the space. Karjat has become a great destination. So around MMR, I see a huge spurt of second home destinations, isn't it?
Yeah. So being in the industry for last 12 years, we have understood some consumer insights, why people basically buy second home. So first, it is a symbol of success. When he buys a second home, he thinks he has arrived in life. Second is, he wants to spend a quality time with the family. Third is investment. And fourth is, of course, the retirement option. So these are the 4 consumer insights what we found. And what normally person looks when he buys a second home is the destination or location where he is buying, the connectivity and distance, the growth potential, and of course the nature and greenery around. So keeping these things in mind, I think there are 4 highways in MMR region. A Mumbai-Nasik highway where Shahpur is upcoming second home destination. On Mumbai-Ahmedabad highway, Manor and Wada, these are the destinations we are growing as a second home destination. On Mumbai-Goa highway, Alibag because of beaches and tourist attraction. And Mumbai-Pune highway, which is the evergreen destination, we are looking at Lonavala, Khandala and Kamshins. So these are the few destinations which are popular, or few of the destinations which are upcoming destination for second homes.
All right. Okay, so let me go back to now how this market has evolved. Mudassir, if I'm not mistaken, there are 2 ways that this market has evolved. One is that you had agricultural land, huge patches of them, which got then converted into the farmhouse sort of concept. There was a lot of land available in many pockets of Goa, which then the properties got developed. And there are, of course, developers who have gone in, bought large pieces of land and even built apartments. So what are some of the key trends that you see in second home and vacation homes?
See, one thing is very clear that second homes are largely connected with the economic conditions that a country is going through. In good times, people have enough money, have enough liquidity, enough faith that in times to come, good times will roll on. So people will buy not just their first homes, but keep on investing in properties, and second homes will definitely figure high on their list. In the last few years, we've definitely seen that taking a beating, especially from from an investment point of view. People have rather continued to stick to tier 1 cities rather than go to tier 2 cities or to destinations only from a point of view of investments. But people who are serious about having a second home for leisure, that has continued to happen. So if it's in and around Delhi, then the hill cities around Nainital, Mussoorie, Dehradun, etc. have definitely kept the interest up. If it's Mumbai, then the locations that Santosh just talked about, be it Alibag or be it the Lonavala Khandala area, has always been interesting. In terms of downturn for leisure, that takes that theme takes a beating. But in good times, investments and all the other themes that Santosh talked about, retirement and for growth, etc. People do look at these locations, etc. So it will always be cyclical, connected with the economy. As such.
In fact, that's precisely what I was going to come to. I also read a report that this is a market which is recession-proof because it's not so connected to the economy. People do it because of emotional reasons, and these spots or these locations are also not easily available. Naveen, Jacob, what do you think? There was a time, I read a report between 2005 and 2008, there was a research done, the sales of second homes went up or jumped up by 50%. Do you think that post 2008 actually there's been a decline in the demand for second homes?
To be honest, I don't think so. Like you said, a lot of these decisions to buy a second home or a holiday home is more of, like you said, emotionally driven, and it is something that people, to me, honestly, I don't think it's actually come down.
You don't think demand has come down? Om, would you agree with that? That the demand's not come down? This is let's say a downturn-proof industry or a recession-proof industry?
If I were to break it up into parts, there's one part which is, the aspirational purchase, and it's
that will never change.
That will never change. So that. Good times and bad, people aspire to have a home in Goa, they'll go get it. There could be certain blips where people will wait for the right time to buy, but that's temporal. But largely the other segment is, what I was talking about earlier. So if somebody is looking to buy a second home where they can go retire, or if it could also be functional, where you could buy a second home in a city. If you live in a smaller town, you buy a second home in a gateway city, which is where all the educational centers are. When your kids grow up, that's where you would want to be. So it's functional from that standpoint. You buy a second home, and at one point in time, you'll go and live there. Now that purchase is a purchase that people could stagger and say that, maybe I wait and do this 2 years later or 3 years later, because in some ways, purchase of a second home is like art. You go and say, I buy art, I get to use it, and it also appreciates. And so there's also a time when you buy it.
Absolutely.
So from that standpoint, there could be situations. So I wouldn't say this is recession proof.
All right, we're going to come back in terms of how do you get from a developer perspective, how do you get a second home or a vacation home project right. It's not an easy one. I do know lots and lots of developers are stuck with inventory. Homes are not selling even in great locations like Kasauli, which were absolutely a darling of Delhi Richie Rich. Those are not selling. So we're going to come back, look at that, and we're going to keep aside the homes for the rich. We've already established that they really don't care. If they want to own a second home, they will. How about the rest of the population which is aspiring for a second home? The upper middle income group, should they go in for it or not? Does it make a good investment or not? Those are some of the questions we still need to tackle with. Stay with us.